Hello and welcome to the 19th video lecture of Principles of Marketing Semester 1 Module number 2. In today's video lecture we are going to discuss about the various bases for segmenting industrial markets. In a previous video lecture we have completed the basis of segmenting consumer markets. Now before going into more discussion about the basis of segmenting industrial markets, let us first understand what is an industrial market. Students, industrial markets are also known as B2B markets, that is business to business markets. Now what is the meaning of B2B or business to business markets or industrial markets? In these markets, a company sells its goods not to the final end user of the product, but it sells it to some other company so that it can use it in process of production, or it can use it as a raw material into its own products so that it can create products to some other client. Now for example, if a company is manufacturing soap and it is selling it to a retailer or maybe a wholesaler, then it becomes business to business or industrial market. Why? Because the company that is manufacturing soap is a business, okay, and the retailer or the wholesaler which is purchasing this soap is also a business. So one business is selling products to some other business. Now the other business which is purchasing, that is the wholesaler, are they purchasing for their own final use, end use? Are they going to use the soap themselves? No. Why are they purchasing? They are purchasing with an intention to resell it, or maybe to sometimes, for example, sometimes you purchase machinery, soap making machinery. So you purchase these items so that you can use it in the process of production, but you are not planning to sell it to some other person. Whereas your kirana store person, that is your retailer, will sell you a product, that is soap, and you purchase it, the final end user, that is the consumer. Okay, so when you use it, are you purchasing, or when you purchase it, are you purchasing this so that you will resell this product to someone else? No, you are purchasing this product so that you can use this product. Okay, so that is the difference between consumer markets and industrial markets. In consumer markets, the product is sold to the ultimate or the final consumer, whereas in industrial markets, the one business sells the products to some other business. Now, what are the bases of segmenting industrial markets? There are different bases of segmenting industrial markets. What are these? 5 main bases we have, which are demographic base, operating variables, purchasing approaches, situational factors, and personal characteristics. We shall take one by one now in our coming slides. First, we shall discuss the demographic segmentation. Now, demographic, as in consumer markets, it means age, gender, income, occupation in consumer markets. Whereas when it comes to industrial markets, it has similar type of meaning but may not be limited to only this. What is the meaning when it comes to industrial markets? Suppose if we are if we are planning to segment the market based upon the type of industry that we serve, or which industry are we planning to serve, then that becomes a basis of demographic segmentation. The service or the product that we are going to offer to our customers, which are the industries that we are going to offer. Before we going into much depth of this discussion, let us clear an concept which I had told you in a previous lectures also, that there is a difference between industry and a company or a firm. A company or a firm is one entity, whereas all these companies or firms together, similar companies which are working in similar field together, form an industry. For example, take this example itself, which I am gonna explain you, that is about mobile phones. Mobile phone and accessory is a business, is a industry. Now in this we have various companies. Some of those companies are Micromax. Then I'll just write the initials here. Micromax, Nokia. Then we have Samsung. Then we have Xiaomi. Then we have Eyeball, Intex, IKEA, and many other such kind of similar brands, we can say, or there are numerous brands available in the market. So all these brands together, or all these companies together, they form the mobile accessory industry. So you cannot start an industry already exists, but you can start a company. That is the main difference between industry and company. Now when we talk about this segmentation, if we are dividing the entire market based upon the type of industry that we are planning to serve, then this becomes a demographic segmentation. We can serve either mobile phone and accessories industry, or the automobile industry, or the construction industry, or the banking industry, or the financial sector industry, or the IT sector, or maybe the chemical industry, or maybe the fertilizer industry. So what type of industry are we gonna trying to serve? If we segment the market based upon this becomes demographic segmentation. Now the second type of segmentation in as a subsection in demographic segmentation is the company size. If we are dividing the entire market based upon the size of the company as small, medium and large scale, then it becomes demographic segmentation. Also in demographic segmentation we can do based upon geographical location. Like for example, if India is a country, we can divide the entire country into 4 or 5 sections: North India, South India, East India, West India and Central India, and we can have geographical this segmentation. Similarly here also, if it is an international company, we can have something like Southeast Asian countries, which include Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, India, Pakistan, Nepal, Burma, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and many such smaller countries. If we think of Indian subcontinent, then only India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Burma, that is Bhutan, then Nepal and Sri Lanka will come. If we talk about the European Union, the European countries will come, and similarly if we talk about the Gulf countries, the Middle East countries will come. So whether we are trying to cater to only these companies or what? So if that is the case, then we are going for geographical or location segmentation, which comes under demographic segmentation. So this is the first type of segmentation, that is demographic segmentation. Under demographic segmentation we have based upon the industry, based upon the company size and based upon the location of the company. If we are segmenting, then that becomes demographic segmentation. Let's move ahead to the second type. The second type of segmentation which we have is known as operating variable segmentation. Now in this type, operating variable segmentation, we segment the market based upon the technology, that is what customer technologies should we focus on. For example, in mobile phone section we have 2 broad categories, we can say. One is known as the smartphone, which is your touch screen, touchpad, touch screen, and the other one is the dial pad or keys, which has keys which you have to press and hold. So button cells that we call. So these are 2 broad categories. Now which of these categories of this are we gonna serve? Are we gonna serve the smartphone in this, that is touchscreen mobile phones companies, or we are gonna serve the dial pad mobile companies companies? So that is what we have to decide. So these 2 are different technologies, and based upon these technologies, So the next type it comes if we are segmenting based upon user, non-user, or maybe a mild user. So basically we have things like a classification in this if we are doing based upon heavy users, mild users or average users, and low users. So HML classification if we are doing, then that becomes operating variable segmentation. Now for example, there are certain companies which demand in huge quantity, they come under heavy users. Okay, they require that material in huge quantities, so they and continuously they need, so such kind of companies come under heavy users. There are certain companies which requires those items in medium quantity, so they are known as medium users, they fall under this category. And there are certain companies which either do not use or are low users, so they come under low users. You can have one more classification as non users, those companies which do not use that product. So this way 4 different classifications if we are doing of the market, and then we are going to select one or maybe more than one of these sections. Of course you have to select from this only. Non users are something which you do not need to market your product to unless you are trying to bring a new product for them. So this is how classification based upon the user status can be done. Now the third different type of classification what we can do, that is segmentation we can do under this, is based upon the customer capabilities. Should we serve customers needing many or few services? There will be some customers or companies like for example company 1, company 2, company 3 and so on. Okay, these will be needing many different services from us. This may be needing only a few services from us, and they may not be needing any services from us. So the services that we are offering, for example, suppose if our company is into computer repairs and maintenance, then there is this big company which requires not only computer maintenance, it requires computer annual maintenance contracts, it requires lot of supplies, office supplies, for example the printer inks, the printer ribbons, the printer stationery. There are a lot of things that are required in the office. So all these things are used in huge bulk quantity, and many different services are required by this company. Then those type of companies will come under this, that is many services. Few services, only a few services that you are offering are required by these companies, so they fall under C2 category or F category you can say. And these are the companies which do not require any of your services, so no need to market for these. You have to concentrate only on these two or maybe any one of these two. Suppose if you have decided that you have to concentrate only on those companies which require most of your service or maybe all of your services, then that is the segment that you are targeting. So this way you are dividing the market based upon the customer capabilities. The next way of classification or segmentation is known as purchasing approaches. Now in purchasing approaches, the first classification that is based upon, that is segmentation, if you're doing based upon purchasing function of the organization. Now we know that purchasing function in an organization, in management concept you might have learned so far, that it might be either highly centralized or decentralized. Now what is the meaning of centralized and decentralized? Centralized means those things where or those purchasing systems which is done by the headquarters only. So there will be one headquarters and there will be branches throughout the country or maybe throughout the world. So in this what happens is the headquarter itself takes all the decisions regarding all the purchases. So it is centralized at a central headquarters. All the decisions, if they are done taken care by the headquarters or the head office, then it is known as centralized decision making. So in this purchase function, it is if purchasing is done by only one office, head office, and then those purchases which are their supplies are supplied to all the branch offices, this is known as centralized purchasing system. Decentralized purchasing system are those purchasing systems where these purchasing system, this function is decentralized. Now what do you mean by decentralized purchasing system? That is purchasing decision, what should be purchased, how much should be purchased, from where it should be purchased, what should be the quality of the purchased items, and how frequently should we purchase. So these decisions are to be taken by the branch offices only and not by the head offices. So the branch offices are free to take their own decisions, and they can go into their local markets also, and they can purchase items from them. So this is the thing about decentralized purchasing. So if you can divide the entire market, say, based upon the companies which have centralized purchasing and based upon companies which have decentralized purchasing. So if you segment this way, you can cater to you can say I'm gonna select only those companies which have centralized purchasing system, or you can say I am gonna select only those companies which are there in decentralized purchasing system, or you can say that I'm gonna concentrate more on those which have centralized purchasing system, but little wherever possible I'll go for decentralized also. So what you're doing is basically you're classifying the entire companies or industries based upon the purchasing system that they have. So the next way of classification is power structure. Should we serve companies that are engineering dominated, financial dominated, and so on? So there are certain branches everywhere in all the companies which are dominant. For example, suppose if you go to an engineering company like telco, then you will find that the engineering department, especially the manufacturing section, is very dominant in them. They take the major decisions. Whereas if you see in those companies, the general manager, the higher level managers usually come from the manufacturing department itself. Whereas in other companies like banking sector and or financial sector, services sector, then there you find some other type of system. So what exactly it is? So which type of companies are you gonna serve to? Are they you gonna serve to those companies which are engineering dominated, or those companies which are financially dominated? So that if you are selecting, or that you are segmenting the market based upon that criteria, then that is based upon power structure. The next way of classification is based upon nature of existing relationship. Now you generally develop a good relationship with customers, especially if you are providing them service over a long term, and over you are providing very good service and they are also happy with you, then usually you develop a good relationship with them. So based upon this relationship only, should we serve companies with which we have strong relationship and enjoy a strong relationship, or simply go after the most desired companies? So if this is the question, if we are asking ourselves that should we go after companies that we know well, we have been serving them very well, and we have a very strong relationship with them, to them only we have to serve, or we should look for newer companies also which are attractive. For example, those companies which have huge demand and they may become our future customers. So to whom we should try to market? So if we classify the market based upon this criteria, then it becomes purchasing approach segmentation. The next way of classification is based upon the general purchasing policies. For example, should we serve companies that prefer leasing, service contract, system purchases, sealed bidding? So what is the way of purchasing? How do they purchase? Now different companies purchase in a different way. Sometimes what may happen is some companies call for tenders or contracts, and based upon the bidding system, the lowest bidder is selected. Sometimes there might be a system that within the company itself, that where once you follow the system, automatically you select a or maybe a couple of, or maybe more than two suppliers. Similarly, there might be service contracts with some people, or there may be a system of leasing of machineries, land, or something like that. So what type of customers are you gonna select? So if you're classifying based upon that, for example, if you are decided that you are gonna select those companies which call for orders, that is, which call for bidding, tender bidding, then that is known as purchasing approach segmentation. The last type of classification under this. Now if this classification is used, then you ask yourself, should we serve companies that are seeking quality, service, price, etc. So that is what is their purchasing criteria of companies. So if purchasing criteria of companies is the lowest cost or price is the issue with people, there might be companies for whom price is an issue, and there might be companies for whom price is not an issue. So this way you can segment the market. That is, for companies you are going to select for them who are for whom price is an issue. That is, those companies which are price or cost sensitive. If there is little increase in the price, they may not purchase from us. If there is little decrease in a price, there are chances that they may purchase from us. So those companies which are price sensitive, or those companies which are not price sensitive and maybe they are looking for quality instead of that. So if they are looking for quality, we are going to serve them, and we are going to divide the market this way. So we are dividing the market based upon price sensitive, non-price sensitive, or maybe those companies which are looking for quality, or those people who are looking for good service. So this way, if we are classifying the entire market, then this is known as purchasing approach segmentation. The next type of segmentation that we are going to study is the situational factors segmentation. Under this, three major classifications we have based upon urgency. Like for example, we should ask ourselves, should we serve companies that need urgent or quick or sudden delivery or service? So that is, sometimes urgent delivery is needed, quick sudden deliveries are needed, unexpected, which is not planned earlier. So such companies, should we serve serve to those companies or not? So yes or no. So for example, urgent requirement, planned requirement. So this way, if we segment the market, that is, those companies who have urgent requirement, for them we are going to select. Or else we can say that those companies which do not have urgent requirement, for them we are going to select. So that is, those companies who have planned requirements, for them we are going to select. So that is nothing but classification based upon the urgency. Then we have something known as specific application. Should we focus on just a second, I'll bring. Should we focus on a certain application of a product rather than all applications? Now, for example, I'll show you Eno. This brand you might be knowing. I'm giving an example of a consumer brand, actually, not an industrial brand, so that you can understand this much more easily. What is the meaning of specific application? Eno. What is the meaning of what do you understand by this, or what do you know about Eno? Eno is a brand which is used or marketed saying that it will help you for digestion, it will help you to relieve constipation. So these kind of things they say in the advertisement and in the marketing campaign. But in actual practice, how do people use Eno? Yes, this is a major thing why Eno is used in India, but there are a lot of other sub-uses of Eno. You might have seen Eno being used in dhokla, idli, dosa, and there are so many other things where Eno is used, where it is used for making instant dhokla, instant idli, instant various things, especially where fermentation is required, and it is used as a soda, that is food grade soda. So that is what are alternate uses of this. Now the company will be knowing all these uses, but in the marketing campaign, what it does not focus on all these things. It focuses on this specific application of Eno for digestion purpose. So you use Eno, so that Eno on, acidity gone. That is the thing that they say in marketing. But when it comes to application, there are many applications of Eno. You can do any application you want at home, but in the marketing campaign they have very specific, and they say that it should be used for digestion purpose only. Now better digestion, that is. So specific application is like this: where is my product gonna used? So what is that specific application where my product is gonna be used? If that way you are segmenting, then that is nothing but specific application. Then size of order, size of order or size of order. Are you gonna give me very big order, or are you gonna focus on those companies which are gonna use small orders? So this is what, if you're segmenting based upon this criteria, this is again a situational factor. Should we focus on large or small orders? That is, there might be some companies which give very big orders but only once a year. There might be companies which will give you many small orders but maybe 30-40 orders in a year. So which are the companies that you're gonna focus? So if you're thinking on this line, then that is segmenting the market based upon this criteria, then this is nothing but situational factor. The next way, I'm not getting this. Okay. Personal characteristics. Now, personal characteristics, what it means. Suppose if you are dividing the market based upon the buyer-seller similarity, that is, company has certain values and it has its own personality. Any company, suppose company X, it has its own personality. Then suppose if it is trying to sell to only those companies which is also similar to it in its values or in its approach, in its maybe services, customer handling, beliefs. So based upon all these things, if they are similar to that company, then and you're trying to sell to those companies, then this is known as buyer seller similarity. So should we serve to companies whose people and values are similar to ours? So if you think on this line, then that is based upon personal characteristic segmentation. Next, it is attitude towards risk. Should we serve risk taking or risk avoiding customers? So we are dividing the market based upon two things here: risk takers, risk taking companies, and risk avoiding companies. Risk avoiding and risk taking, these are two different terms. So what type of companies are we gonna serve? So if you're thinking this way, then it is again a personal characteristic segmentation. And lastly, based upon the loyalty, that is, should we serve companies that show high loyalty to their suppliers? That is, suppose if they have high loyalty and they have been continuously purchasing. What do you mean by loyalty? Loyalty means repeatedly purchasing from the same person only, even if you have a better offer outside. So even if you have, say, things available for lesser price outside and the competitor is ready to give at lesser price, but still your customer is coming and purchasing from you, that means he is very loyal to you. So should you serve and give more importance to these loyal customers, or you should go and treat everyone equally? If you're thinking on this criteria, that is based upon the loyalty of the customers or of the companies, then you are talking about personal characteristic segmentation. So these are the 5 ways how segmentation of industrial markets are done. If you have any difficulties with this lecture, if you have doubt, then you can always contact us. We are always available. With this, we end today's lecture.